Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
Positive Spin, presenting positive, innovative, and solution-oriented news from around the world. Positive Spin wishes everyone a wonderful holiday season. On today's program, we'll learn how Redwood's Rising is empowering youth to preserve our ancient forests. And we'll hear a Brenda interview segment, The Story of Bubbles, a rescue dog giving back to the community. Then we'll profile the 2025 Goldman Prize winner from Tunisia. After that, we'll experience the transformational art of visionary Muhlleian. Finally, we'll view an interview with artist and musician J.D. Shultz, also known as Human Brother.
So today it's pretty cool. We're out in the Mill Creek watershed and we're checking up on the hydrology apprentices. This summer we hired 4 of them. And they have 3 different types of surveys that they're doing this summer. So the students, I think, are really, on the ground, kind of leading the way. I think of them sort of as the prow of the ship, kind of forging the way and helping, real live scientists figure things out. Different summers we've offered different apprenticeships. So we've had wildlife apprenticeships, hydrology apprenticeships, watershed restoration apprenticeships, forestry apprenticeships, botany apprenticeships. They're really diverse.
There's restoration going on. There are restoration projects that are about to happen. People are going to come back and measure this again. And so they're contributing to this long-term vision of restoring this forest. And I think that's a huge part of what makes this kind of job rewarding.
Kind of just solidifies in myself like I'm doing good work. I'm putting myself into a position where I'm going to bring a future to other people that maybe I won't meet in my life, but I will be able to influence their way of life, their culture, their experience in the natural world, and just make them happy as well.
Bueno, la primera cosa que podemos aprender de un árbol sequoia costera es cómo... Yeah, we share wildlife and plant life facts and little trivia and also talk about the historical and cultural significance of this place. We want to be inclusive and we want to welcome everyone here. Everyone belongs in the parks.
The fact that I get to be a part of an organization that's able to protect these redwoods for future generations, that's the kind of organization I want to be in.
Buzzy,
hey,
it's been a pleasure.
Until the
this is
next
Brenda
time.
Lynn Martin with Positive Spin TV with positive news. This is Brenda Lynn Martin with Positive Spin TV, and I have a special guest, Bubbles, the pit bull, and he's here with his human, David. And David's going to let the audience know about how he got started with Bubbles. So David, take it away.
Bubbles and I met in the inner city of a city outside of San Francisco almost 13 years ago. He was tied to the bike rack at the building I was working at. I happened to go outside at the particular time that he was there, and I immediately approached him. He was super sweet. I just thought, wow, this is an amazing dog, and if he goes to animal control in this city, he gets 3 days and they'll put him down because he's one of those dogs. He came home with me that day. I thought, well, I'll get him to the local animal shelter, the Humane Society of Sonoma County, and they are a no-kill shelter. So he'll be at least placed with somebody who loves him. And, excuse me, sleeping on the rug. And then he moved inside to sleep on the couch. And after 6 weeks, in the middle of October, the first storm of the season blew in with just horrendous wind. He's scared of the wind. And I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning because I was overheating, and I was listening to this horrendous wind outside, and I thought, what's up with the wind? And why am I hot? And I came to, and I looked down between the sheets, and there's this nose sticking up at me, and I looked at him, and he just gave me a big kiss, and I said, I guess now we're family.
So tell the audience how pit bulls are misunderstood. He actually wrote a book. Life is pretty good.
Bubbles moves to the country. That's his first book, and that's the story of his transition from the inner city to the wine country. He has a second book that's just about ready to go to the publishers. That's called Everybody Loves Bubbles, and it's about all the different populations of people that we've worked with over 9 years of being a therapy dog team. And
explain that to the audience too, where he goes in and out of.
So one thing, so Therapy Dog is a program through which he becomes certified as what's called a canine good citizen, and that allows him to go into libraries, particularly. That's where we started, and then also to go to schools and colleges and universities and other places as a therapy dog, as a certified therapy dog, that says that he's good with people, he's okay with other dogs.
And so what would you tell somebody that was going to get a pit bull?
I would say be in for a huge investment of time and love, because they are love bugs.
Wow, So I'm very excited to show Bubbles off and let everyone know that pit bulls are lovable dogs with anybody, children, humans, animals. They're the best dogs ever. So to end, if you'd like to get a book, Bubbles is on Facebook.
At D like David, my name, Bubs, and my last name is Gurley, Gurley. Or if you search Bubbles Gurley, I think he's the only one that comes up.
And that's it for now. Positive spin and positive news. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Controversial and always outspoken, G. Mark Muhlleian's paintings speak of war and human consciousness. He was instrumental in the cultural clash of combining the multimedia mainstream press and the subculture press of the gay community on an international scale. G. Mark Muhlleian has captured the public's imagination for more than 4 decades. He has received extensive press coverage both within and outside of the United States. Today, moving into the 21st century, he is embracing the power of the internet to progress his quest for peace through his amazing website, Muhlleian.com, where he is reaching millions worldwide.
I felt that myself from seeing the work, that it was meaningful and purposeful, and I saw that other people were relating to it in the same way. And that went on for about 5 years. But during this period, there were quite a few well-known people who came by the gallery, and it seemed to me that they were admirers of Mark's works. Elton John, for one, came by one day during this period and purchased one of his paintings, and there were other well-known people who were similarly affected by his work and purchased some of them. I always had the feeling about Mark that he was someone very, very special. This artistry was different, not just different, but unique. In some ways it was inimitable. It was a realistic style, and I actually spoke of it and thought of it as trans-realistic, as differentiated from surrealistic, trans-realistic being the juxtaposition of various objects to present overall a particular theme. He was not materialistically oriented. What was important to him was to get his art out there, to get out into the world of what he was feeling within himself, what he was experiencing within himself.
This 1976 mural-sized painting, entitled The Playground, depicting the conflict between Kratos, god of strength, sent by Zeus, supreme god of justice and reason, and the dynasty of the Titans of today. A visual metaphor for the people's struggle against consuming domination and exploitation by the ruling elite, reshaping a new horizon against the voices of reason at the expense of human potential.
Insightful, mysterious, and controversial, his style is called transrealism, where the artist observes all of the refined elements that our life here on Earth has to offer. The stirring up of conflict is a Luciferian virtue in the true sense of the word, conflict, and engenders fire, the fire of affects and emotions. And like every other fire, it has two aspects, that of combustion and that of creating light, writes Carl Jung. Dies Irae, the cornucopia of Muhlleian's works, and perhaps the best known. It is also one of the most complex in terms of conception, composition, and symbolic representation, a painting of symphonic dimensions. The image depicts a highly dramatic vision, biblical in scale, of the moment before the end of all moments, the moment before the end of all human sentience, the split second before the chance of choice is gone from human grasp forever. A presence on top of the tree of peace, which rises and descends, flying directly into the blast, compelled by the second, seminal light to receive its calling of guardianship, of transformative hope. The belief of American Indians is that the eagle is a messenger sent by the Creator. Underpainting thin layers upon layers of pigment and glazes permits light to enter the painting and cause illumination from within. This technique, understood by Muhlleian from the teachings of the Old World artisans, rarely perfected in the modern world, has created a level of technical excellence of color brilliance and three-dimensional qualities that exceed and question our own reality. The stunning detail of the prismatic breaking of light through the droplets of water and the beveled surfaces of cut glass. The artist gives a highly prismatic quality through his translucent hues that captures the feeling of age that seems to come alive. As texture and light beckons the viewers into a captivating level thought not to be possible with paint.
Desiree probably was one of the single paintings that took the longest time to paint. It took 2 years. And actually the concept of Desiree came to me in 1968 and was not painted until the 80s. And Desiree is a very powerful piece. It's very indelible, and it has a far-reaching effect, and it's timeless because it speaks of a very critical point of not just our country but of the world. Considering the present world situation, the possibility of a nuclear catastrophe is more apparent than ever before. A Pandora's box has been opened, and now it is up to all of us to close it. This is not a problem that politicians can solve. Our salvation depends on the transforming power of human hearts. Only in the center of our being will we be able to find the guidance necessary to prevent our extinction.
The North African country of Tunisia is a global crossroads, rich in culture and more than 3,000 years of history. But like many countries, it faces challenges in protecting its natural environment. Semia Garbi is a scientist and educator who has dedicated her career to raising awareness about environmental issues in Tunisia.
We cannot live without air, we cannot live without water, we cannot live without food. So the interconnection between the education and the environment that I am working on.
Semia's work took on a new focus in 2019 when Tunisian customs discovered a shipment of 282 containers from Italy that were supposedly filled with recyclable waste, but in fact carried nearly 6,000 tons of illegally exported trash. The scandal reflected a global problem, waste trafficking, in which billions of tons of waste are illegally shipped each year to developing countries.
We cannot accept to manage the waste of other countries. It is really a big issue because already we have our waste to manage. The urban cities are really increasing, so this is also a big issue about the capacities of the landfills.
As Tunisian authorities took key steps to investigate the illegal shipment from Italy, Semia worked with her partners at the Green Tunisian Network to mobilize support for the government's effort and to get the illegal waste sent back to Italy.
The strategy was dynamic. It was like interconnected work with our government. We do our role. It is to give them the information with the science, with the research.
Through interviews, press releases, and social media, Semia and her team raised public awareness while working with authorities toward a solution. In November 2020, the Tunisian government's investigation exposed a ring of corruption responsible for the waste trafficking. Arrests were made, but the containers of trash remained in Tunisia. So Semia and her colleagues turned to international support.
The import-export is regulated by international law. So it becomes not only a Tunisian issue, but it becomes an international issue. And that's to show that there is no borders for the environment.
Alongside global partners, Semia called for action from the Italian government. In response, a UN special rapporteur traveled to Italy to conduct an investigation. The resulting report was a turning point, calling on those responsible on the Italian side to take back the illegal trash. But a setback came when 70 of the 282 shipping containers were suspiciously set on fire.
When we learned about the burning of the 70 containers, we were really very, very upset. We know that with this mixture of waste, it will be a lot of emission of pollutants in the air.
Semia and her colleagues continued to support Tunisian authorities pursuing reshipment of the trash. Working with global partners, Semia also pushed for stronger international regulations. Meanwhile, an investigation by the Italian government led to arrests in Italy. Finally, in February 2022, Tunisia and Italy signed an agreement to return the remaining containers of waste to Italy. A year later, the EU adopted stronger rules and enforcement for waste trafficking.
I think this perhaps kind of movement helped to raise this issue for us as civil society. And we are seeing that in EU they changed it to not export the waste to the developing countries. It is a win for the continent. It's not only for Tunisia.
Semia continues her work as an educator and scientist, promoting solutions to environmental issues in Tunisia and internationally.
Hi, I'm here with J.D. Shultz. How are you today this morning?
It's nice to be here.
Yeah, I'm good. Everything's good with you?
Everything's fantastic.
How did you come up with the name Human Brother?
I wanted to think of a name that was not only universal, but something that could somehow go with my music and unite people from all races and age groups, musical tastes.
Mm-hmm. I like it. You feel obviously very strongly about education of music and art in schools.
I just think art and music education is imperative. I believe that learning how to communicate through music and expressing oneself creatively from a very young age helps to nourish the brain in ways that can't be achieved by playing video games.
They all have the music in them.
To be an artist, to be a musician, it takes discipline, it takes patience, and these are things that we are lacking.
And you're a philanthropist. That's another thing that I think is amazing, giving back.
About 10 years ago, one of my collectors who also worked for the Recording Academy, he asked me to get involved with the Grammys and the Music Cares Foundation. At that time, I had already worked with the City of Hope, Rock Against Drunk Driving, the Art of Elysium, the American Heart Association, and my painting of hearts auctioned off. The money went to helping this young kid get a heart transplant. So when that happened, I was like, oh my God, this is a better feeling than anything. So to me, it's more about giving back and seeing how I can affect other people with my art and music more than it affects myself. I mean, at the end of the day, what really matters more than loving your fellow man and helping others less fortunate? To me, that's what it's all about. This is a painting called The Spirit of Hillsides. It's for Hillsides, a wonderful foster care organization here in Pasadena, California. I donate every year for their annual gala and fundraiser, and it's just an honor.
When did you first start performing or, writing music? How old were you? The same age you started your artwork? Or?
I've been beating on the drums and beating on the dinner table since I was a little kid, and finally my parents caved in when I was about 7, and they got me a drum set. And I never looked back.
What are some of your influences music-wise?
I love the old R&B, and I love the old classic rock, and the 80s movement was just obviously amazing. The new wave stuff and Duran Duran's. And
oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the stuff I grew up on.
I'm with you on that.
The songs are timeless, and they resonate. And if people hear them today, they sound just as good today as they did back then.
And you have a new album coming out called Back to Music. Tell us about that.
Back to Music. Well, this is my sophomore solo release. First album I put out in 2010 called Vision Days on the Life Ride. It's as clear as the ride out. It's all behind you now. Stars are ours today. We wouldn't have it any other way. It's alright now. It's alright.
your first painting? When did you first find out this is what I wanted to do?
Well, I was born into a family of artists. My mom and dad and my brother and sister, we've all been making a living with our art since we had to get a job.
And you've sold to some really big names. Could you give us a couple of names?
Larry King bought my pieces. He's got them in the foyer, and the Guitar Center asked me to decorate their whole Rock Walk Museum on Sunset Boulevard. I was at the screen.
Oh yeah, back in the
front
day.
row back in the day.
That's cool.
There you go.
Oh yeah. Awesome.
Do you guys remember a band called Trulio Disgracias?
Of course.
I was the original drummer.
Oh really?
Yeah. Fishbone. And
25 members.
Yeah, exactly.
He's kind of a special person. His art, his music, I understand who he is, what his dreams are, and where he's going with it. And I support it completely.
What is your best piece of advice for aspiring artists?
You have to be driven. You can't keep it inside. You have to be able to express it, and you have to be able to stand up and tell people about it. Wake up every day and be passionate about what you're doing, and keep doing it.
How would you describe a perfect world?
A world where we can all live together, everybody united through love, creativity, and the protection of our beautiful planet. Music and art are two of the greatest blessings that this world has, and they're being swept away by this tsunami called technology, and I think we need a healthier balance to not eventually strip the soul from the earth.
Thank you for watching Positive Spin. This show is made possible through the generosity of the Patty and Jack Wright Foundation and the Prem Rawat Foundation. Watch and subscribe to our previous episodes on YouTube. Please like us on Facebook and our other media platforms. I'm Bill McCarthy. Stay safe and healthy, and remember, everyone can create their own positive news.